So you guys, listen, I don't even have to introduce this person because he's going to tell us his story. But I have on today's speaker spotlight, Andy Audate. And this guy, I mean, I'm telling you, I met him at an event, 2 years ago?
About that, yep.
About 2 years ago, and I just knew he was someone important. Just the way he walked, just this energy, everybody was approaching him, talking to him, and we finally got to really get to know each other this year, and I'm super honored and proud that you're on our show today. So Andy, who is Andy? Tell us your story. Tell us where you're from. I mean, I know this, but our viewers don't. Just tell us a little bit about you and how you got started in the industry.
Well, I'm a loving, connected, ambitious, vulnerable, powerful, hungry, determined, relentless man. That's who I am.
That's
And what I do is I host seminars and I give people access to my network and to my mindset, but also I give people strategies on how to brand themselves and market themselves to create expansion in their business.
I love that. I love that. So tell us a little bit about like how you got started, because you're a really great speaker. Okay. And you've helped a lot of people. You have your own events. I actually spoke on one of your stages just a few months ago, which was amazing, by the way. So tell us how you really got started, because I know someone in particular mentored you. How did that come about? And tell us who your mentor was.
So I got started in the speaking space. Well, in the entrepreneurship space, I got started from YouTube, actually, from YouTube and pain, both combined. YouTube being the access to knowledge or the idea that there's something better for me rather than what I was experiencing then. So you have what we call the current scene, current, the current scene, and then you have the ideal scene. The current scene at the time was I was 13, 14 years old in an impoverished area, growing up in the smallest state. But the ideal scene was being an entrepreneur, seeing what I saw on YouTube. And so YouTube was my first mentor.
Right.
Okay? Then at the age of 17, 18, I get a job working at Metro PCS, working as a part-time sales rep at one of the cell phone stores. And the owner of that company, of that dealership of Metro PCS, was my mentor.
Okay.
And because of that mentorship or that guidance, I had the opportunity to open up my own cell phone store. And because I had experience with someone who's already successful, I then was able to grow my cell phone business in a successful manner in a short period of time. So I made my first $1 million by 21.
That's crazy. Wait. You can't just skim over that like that's nothing. You made your first $1 million at the age of 21. Like, a lot of people will be blown away by that. I mean, that's incredible. You know what I'm saying? Like, what was your mindset to even get to that point, though? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's me being hungry. You know, I didn't relax. It was little relaxed time. It was constant hunger. So I remember, like yesterday, today's the day after Christmas. Years ago on Christmas, I was still working at on the cell phone store. So the employees had their time off, but hey, I was getting ready and I was preparing for growth. I was like saying, hey, where's my next level at? It was never a time to relax. So I didn't like calm down. Oh, it's the holidays, let me chill out a bit. So that's the difference between people who thrive and people who make it. I promise you, in my circle, the amount of people that I have that are very successful on Christmas, they took out their time for their family, 100%. But I promise you, at some point during the day, they were saying, hey, man, I'm getting prepared for work. I'm working right now. I didn't take the time off. So even back then, that mindset still resonated in me that it does now. But by 21, I made my first $1 million. But here's the thing about making that a lot of money at a young age, man. I did a podcast of the day. When I was traveling to do seminars in the Midwest. And in the midst of that travel, I stopped in Arizona and did a podcast with the person who's essentially partake in having the most liked image on Instagram. So this young guy, he was part of the campaign of the most liked egg, the most liked image. That picture passed Kylie Jenner and Kim
I remember
Kardashian.
seeing that post. Yeah, I know the guy. Yeah. Oh, I know of him from that when it went viral.
Right. So I went to go meet him. He's a good friend of mine. We connected in Vegas, and then we've been friends ever since then, a couple of years ago. And so I stopped by and I said, hey, let me interview you based on what happened. So I would have one of the most exclusive interviews because he didn't want to be interviewed by the big publications. So he just wanted to keep it in the circle. So on that podcast, when I was talking to him, he was explaining how bad it is to go viral, like why people don't actually want to go viral. And essentially the reason why was because if you reach such a peak, what are you striving for next? Like what's next for you? Like your progression is damn near impossible.
Exactly.
So that means the only way to go is down. So mentally, you're not progressing. Mentally, you're regressing.
Exactly.
And essentially that's what happened to me after making such an abundant amount of money, coming from where I come from, where there's blood stains on the street, there's gunshots, and you don't fret. You hear people that got killed, and your first question is like, oh, it's not, oh my gosh, it was murder. That's not your mindset. Your mindset is, hey, is it somebody I know though? Hey, oh, it's not somebody I know? Hey man, no problem. That happens every day. You know, so that's the mindset. So coming up that high, I eventually went downhill. Right. Shortly thereafter. And so it sounds sweet and all, but I understand the pain that it comes with. I understand the responsibility that it comes with. And I also understand the amount of friends that I lost.
Wow. No, I mean, that's a lot of responsibility for someone that young, you know? And so like you kind of talked a little bit about it, but what has been one of the most challenging moments like in your career? Because you're more than just a speaker, you're an entrepreneur as well, but talk a little bit about your business, but then also about your speaking business, because most of our audience, they're trying to either start their speaking business or 10X their speaking business.
So the biggest challenge I would say is self-doubt. You know, the person that you were alluding to earlier was my mentor who supported me in the speaking business. So I had the Metro PCS mentor that supported me in the cell phone business. Right. And when I moved to California, I got, after having such a success in the cell phone business, I took that money, moved to Cali, and then I got a mentor in the speaking business. And that mentor was Les Brown, the legendary motivational speaker Les Brown. And Les trained me. I worked with him, then I went on tour with him. And one of the biggest challenges that I had in entrepreneurship would be self-doubt. Number one, I recognized that I was Black. Right. And it was literally this weekend. Not this weekend. Actually, what day is today? 26. So it was yesterday. I was watching this TV show about the Wu-Tang Clan, how they got together, how they emerged, and I saw the opposition that they had as being young Black men. And I started thinking about my life, and I started recognizing that, hold on, I've been subconsciously brainwashed as a young Black man that I'm not good enough, that I'm not powerful enough. Like, I should be scared of the police. I should be nervous. I should be on edge. I should be fighting. I should be angry. I should be all these characteristics that come through like a negative segment. And I remember watching that show, and there was a scene where there was an old head. So in the streets, we call the old head or OG. OG stands for original gangster. But old head means someone who's an elder of age with wisdom. So I said there was an old head on the TV show as I'm watching it, talking to what we call in the streets a young buck. A young buck is just someone who's young, who's out in the streets doing his thing. So old head is talking to a young buck, and he's like, hey man, you got to recognize that you're a king. You got to recognize that you're a king. And I literally, as I'm watching this show, I'm at my friend's house watching this show, and for something comes inside of me, and I was like, yo, get out of here, go to grind. So I told my boy, I said, hey bro, I'm out. I dapped him up. I left. I went home, and I said, look, 2020 is the year for extreme affluent growth. Amen. But I share that with you to say this. Even though those challenges that I had, the biggest challenge would be self-doubt, to answer your question. Yeah. Self-doubt. The fact that I'm young, I'm currently 24. The fact that I'm Black, the fact that I come from an impoverished area, the fact that I'm a little overweight, the fact that, whatever opposition or odds that are against me, those self-doubts creep in my mind every single day, and it nags me. It's like, can you actually do this? Can you? And then I do it, and I try to go scale to a higher level, progress higher. Then it's like, yeah, I know you did that one, but can you do the next one though? Right. Yeah. Exactly. So it's constantly in my head, like that question, can you do it? And so my solution to that, and then other people look at it as arrogance. Like I did a sales call the other day, and the lady said, "Oh, you're pretty arrogant," and I'm like, no, it's not that I'm arrogant. I'm just confident in myself. It's just the fact that no one tells me, no one whispers in my ear every day. You're powerful. So
you have to pump up yourself, because if you don't pump up yourself, who else is going to do it for you? And that's the thing that I you know what? That's funny that you said that, because I didn't think people will. It's kind of funny that a woman told you that, but as a Black woman, because you're saying like as a Black man, listen, we got it twice as hard as you. because we're a woman and we're Black, right? And the thing, I look young. I don't really look my age. But it's funny that you said that, because when we're confident, I have men a lot in the industry be like, oh, wow, you're really aggressive. And my first response is, would you have said that if I was a man? And they get checked and they're like, oh, whoa, I wouldn't have said that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, listen, we all have like that doubt. And like you said, I had to learn how to just be me and not really care if it makes other people feel uncomfortable. You get what I'm saying? But you're right. We all have that negative self-talk, but we have to work our way out of it. And the thing about you is that you've already hit a certain level of success. And so that voice in your head, sooner than later, you're going to learn how to shut it off. Because you're 24. It still blows my mind. I mean, you're 24. You're 24. You have so many years ahead of you. So that stuff just kind of takes time. But I'm just super proud to even witness your growth and to learn from you, because I'm learning from you.
Age has definitely been one of the biggest triggers of especially like the people that I work with.
Uh-huh.
Like I'm currently setting up a tour. So prior to this call, I was doing a sales training appointment with my staff and my sales team. And some of the speakers or some of the people in this industry, when they're like, when I present the opportunity to work with me, it's so fucking hilarious. Like it's like I share the idea of working with me, and they say, yeah, it sounds great. Like, let's do it. What have you done in the past? And I share what I've done in the past, and I share what I'm going to do, and it's like, oh man, that must be impossible. But here's the thing: it's not that it's impossible for me; it's impossible for you. There's speakers I talk to that's like, oh, Andy, I've been speaking for 25 years, so because we're gonna go into the speaking, because you did mention the speaking. This is for your audience. Oh, Andy, I've been speaking for 25 years. I say, oh my gosh, 25 years? You've been speaking since before I was born, technically. Wow.
Right.
So I mean, I'm hosting a tour. We're gonna put about 2,000 people in the seats. We're gonna have a reach about 800,000. Ironically, right now, I'm approving an article for Forbes magazine. In the Forbes. Do you want to be part of my tour? Oh, well, you're only 24, young man. I could teach you a few things. I said, great. I'm willing to learn. However, we're talking about you being part of my tour. Do you want to be part of my tour?
Exactly.
Well, how can you doing a tour? Like, don't you need? And it's like their doubt starts creeping into me.
Exactly. Don't allow other people, because that's the thing though. People can only support you at the level that they're at. So if they don't believe it for themselves, it's going to be very hard for them to believe it for you. You know what I mean? And I've had to learn how to just not even tell people what I'm doing. And I know it's hard for you because you're trying to gain a community of people to ride with you as you're climbing, but you're going to know very easy who should be coming with you and who's not even ready. I don't care if you've been speaking 2 years or 25 years. God gives everyone their God-given natural talents. And I know those kids that are making way more money than us, like that kid that was just going viral. He made $29 million in 2019 on YouTube, and he's 9 years old. How many people do we know that made 29 million? So these kids can teach us. So like you said, that's just that's arrogant to me, because it doesn't matter the age. Knowledge is knowledge. And if you haven't done it before, like you said, you should sit down and just listen. So tell me something that you are very proud of, because in your 24 years, we've all done something where we can sit back and be like, man, I did that. What is that moment for you?
I moved from the East Coast to the West Coast.
That's awesome. By yourself?
No, I moved with my friend.
Okay.
We moved together, and I went to him in 2016, and I said, hey, you want to do something crazy? Do you want to move to the West Coast? Or do you want to move? And he said, where do you want to move to? I said, I don't know. Let's move to California, LA? I don't know. And then he said, yeah, sure. And then literally from there on, we just kept it as LA. So I could have said it. Phoenix could have came on top of my head, and I would have moved to Phoenix, or Vegas. It just happened to be LA. And then when I got to LA, I found out how much it was to live here. Then I was like, oh man, but I still made it happen, But it would be that as far. But most importantly, what I'm really proud of is it wouldn't be something like tangible. Like I typically don't acknowledge my wins or my progression. Like I'm very numb to it. And
that's weird. I'm the same way. I don't know why is that. Like, I'm the same way.
Well, my assumption would be that it allows us to continue to grow because there's no I made it feeling that took place.
Exactly. There's never going to be that. There's never. Because I feel like the moment
when I spoke to you, I had a conversation with you on the phone, and you were sharing with me your successes, your wins in the teaching business and the courses and the trainings that you were doing. I'm like, wow, that's very profound. Like many would actually stay right there and say, yo, I fucking made it. Like don't you see I'm teaching the new generation right now? And many would say like, I made it. And you said like, hey, I did it. Now what's next? And now you're entering the new space, and like out of nowhere you become a paid speaker, and then people are introducing me like, yo, have you heard of Dupe? Or have you heard of Dupe? And that's what made me come to you that day when I met you the first day. Was although like I walked with confidence, they were like, hey bro, I need you to come meet with this person. Boom. And if you remember, I came and I sat next to you, and I was like, hey, so that's what like out of the 150 or 200 people in that room that day, somebody grabbed a group of people were like, yo, come meet this person, dog. and I was this was me. This was me. I was like, oh, coming to see you. So
I love it.
It's very profound what you've accomplished.
Thank you so much. I mean, I think like God has given me, you know, in the Bible, it talks about like using your talents. I definitely have the talent to teach. And people always ask me like, how did you become a speaker? Like, how do you speak so well? And I tell them, listen, to me, it's the same thing as teaching inside the classroom, other than it's now me teaching on stage on a mass scale. So I'm just doing what comes natural to me, is just teaching what I know, you know, through my experiences. And that has been building businesses and just teaching people how to better themselves in their lives. Like I love personal development. I love content creation. So I just teach what I know. That's really what it is.
You're a queen about that, man. I go on LinkedIn all the time, and the first thing on my news feed and LinkedIn is like your video. Then I go on Facebook. And I start scrolling down, and I see your video again, and then I'm like, all right, man. Then I'm like, all right. Then I go on Instagram. Next thing you know, it's like women. Like, hey, it's like man. So I'm like, man, she everywhere, man.
I know, man. I try to maximize those 3 platforms. LinkedIn, man, people be sleeping on LinkedIn. That is the platform right now. I've been enjoying myself there. The community's been amazing. So, I mean, 2020, we're all pumped up. And I tell people, I just did a video on Instagram recently, you know, I don't want this new decade or this new year to just be the same, that everyone's, oh, this is my year. This is my year. I mean, it just gets so cliche. Honestly, for you, what is your goal for your business, or even for yourself personally, in this new decade, in the next 10 years? Where do you see yourself? What do you want to accomplish?
That's a great question, and I thank you for asking that. You know, as much as I would, like, oh man, I just threw it away. But we had I showed my business partner like what the plan was, and 2020 is a year of setting up the true foundation. It's as if 2017 to 2019 was the year of understanding the systems, understanding business, understanding myself as a person. I'll tell you an example. In 2016, my mentor, Jonathan Lee, one of my mentors, he said, Andy, what you got to do is you got to wake up early, man. You got to wake up early, get to the gym, eat healthy. You gotta extend your day. So this is a millionaire telling me, a multi-millionaire with you know, generating hundreds of $1 million, telling me, like, giving me words of wisdom. And I was very close to him. I worked with him every single day. You know, I knew his family, the whole 9 yards. So he's giving me advice on where I need to tweak myself. And so I said, okay, it's too hard to wake up that early. He told me to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I said, it's too hard.
Whoa. He told you to wake up at what time?
6.
Guess what time I wake up every single day?
6.
3:45. I'm in the gym by 4:20.
Exactly. So that goes to my point. Point. That's powerful. So you want some other stuff now.
Yeah, I train from 4:30 to 6 a.m. every single morning.
Exactly. So that goes to my point, because he told me to wake up at that time.
Yeah.
And then I was rebuking it. I was like fighting it. I was like, nah, I don't want to change. I was like, oh no, I can't change. And then there was connection or discussion about me smiling and me using my energy, because so you don't know, Dupe, but when I came here to the West Coast, I kept the same attitude that I had on the East Coast. So I met people. Yeah, so I met people like this. I was like, what's up, man?
Right.
Like, I did not smile. Like my first date, I'm thinking about my first date with someone I very much am in love with. I'm thinking about her on our first date. My first date was like, what's up, girl? How you doing? and this is how I came about. That's how I was as a person. Now you're saying I have so much energy. It's true. I had that deep rooted in me. But realistically back then, I was like, what's up, man? Yo, what's good? What's good, man? And in my hand, like I'm always on edge because where I come from, you always got to be aware of your surroundings because you can always get you get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I was just telling my friend yesterday for that the person that we moved in with, we were talking about stories about like, hey, if someone comes up to you and asks you about your shoe size, tell them that you're a size 7 or something, because if your shoe size matches their shoe size, that's what you call a setup for a lick. Like you're about to get robbed right now. Okay.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Like, oh man, that's some nice shoes, man. What size are you? Oh, I'm 11. Yeah, me too, nigga. And then they'll take it from you. But that's where I come from. So when I came in, I was like this, like always on edge. And then, but my mentor, what he did for me was when I started working for him, it was a short period of time, literally 1 month. I didn't need the job. I had money. It was just the fact I want to get around him. So I'm working for him, and he says, Andy, smile. And I said, I am smiling. I said, I am smiling. And he says, no one's going to buy it. So he sat me down in front of a mirror, and I thank God for him. He sat me down in front of a mirror, and he says, do you know why you did not sell any machines this week? I said, why? He said, because you're not smiling. And he said, look in the mirror. Now, I got an attitude. Oh, my God, I'm so angry. I got an attitude. But the thing is, he comes from a similar environment, so he knows how to handle me. So he said, hey, young man, check yourself. Look at the mirror. I said, look, I looked in the mirror. He said, would you buy from you? I said, no. And he said, why? I look mad. I said, but I'm not mad. I'm not mad. He said, but you look mad. It don't matter what you are or not. You look mad. Nobody's gonna buy from you. So what do you need to do? He said, smile. And literally, like right there, like this demon of like anger just like came off of me, and I was like, "What's up, Mr. Lee? How are you? I'm Andy Audate."
And you got a nice smile and white teeth, so like show it off.
Right. So those little tweaks that he was trying to make in me, 6 o'clock in the morning, smile, have energy. You're gonna make more money. I did not listen. That's the thing. I did not listen. Fast forward a couple of years. Now, this morning, I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I wake up at 3 a.m. every day. I'm in the gym. I eat healthier. I'm not as big as I used to be. Right? I'm not as I'm not as big as I used to be, and I'm constantly progressing in my fitness. Like I'm sexier than ever. Like when I look in the mirror, sometimes I just want to look in the mirror. Like right now, I want to lick the screen. I gotta keep my.
You are too funny.
I gotta keep this distance from my screen because I might lick it. But realistically, those tweaks, I smiled more. My energy, all of that increased my income.
And your confidence though, too, because I know for me, just going in the gym every single morning and starting my day that way, it really locks in your mindset, because I don't care what happens after that. When I go home, I can lose a client, I can lose a deal, things can go wrong, but I'm not easily affected because I already trained my mindset in the gym. You know what I'm saying? And I already feel like I've accomplished something by the time I get home at 6 a.m. So it really helps with your speaking business and getting on stage too, I feel like.
No, 100%. Let me tell you, sales, I'm actually naturally an introvert, believe it or not.
Right.
I'm actually naturally, I don't want to talk to people.
Right.
I don't want to, but sales got me to a point where I realized that I had to break this barrier of them not knowing me in order for me to get paid. So I did that so often, it became a muscle. Then I transitioned down on stage where I'm really animated. Like on stage, I'm animated, but really in my natural life, I'm very shy. I'm very shy.
I would have never guessed that. That's crazy. Well, tell us something.
I'm in my own bubble.
Tell us something that we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Tell us something that you learned as a speaker that you want to share with our audience that maybe will help them in their speaking career in 2020.
Yo, get a product. Yeah. Build a product. See, when I started speaking, and I'm here in my home, so I can show it to you. But when I started speaking, I thought that this was the product. Right.
The book that everyone says. Write a book. Write a book.
Write a book. So I said, okay. I said, okay. I'm a speaker. I need to make money. I hear all these speakers talk about get a product, so I create a product. Right. And, okay, I got my book. Now I need to make $10,000 a month. $25 per book. You know how that means I had to sell 400 books. I remember doing the math a couple of years ago. I was doing the math, and I was like, all right, 400 books a month, $10,000 a month. Okay, boom, 100 books a week. at, okay, I can make my 2,500. Okay, 25. Okay, boom, I got it. I'm gonna go sell 100 books, 9 to 5, like everyone else. I'll be able to make $10,000 a month. Yo, do you know how hard it is to meet 100 new people a day and close 100 people a day?
I know.
I mean, a month. Yeah. I mean, a week.
Yeah.
So it's a lot to meet 100. So I then created what I call the high ticket or a knowledge-based digital product.
Yeah.
That was my determining.
That was for me too. When I created a premium course, I call it a premium product. When I created my premium products, it was so easy. I went from, like you said, just having like random stuff, t-shirts and stuff, to a premium course for $1,000. And it blew my mind that I sold more premium products than I did the smaller products. And that's when I was like, okay. And I think it's important to have a variety. You know what I'm saying? I learned from somewhere the 3-prong system. And they say the 1-to-1, which is not scalable, right? 1-to-1 coaching, you know, the 1-to-many, which is something where you can maybe do a group coaching call or even a speaking engagement because you can get paid whatever your speaking fee to speak in front of all those people. And then your evergreen product, which is you making money as while you're sleeping, right? So having a variety of all 3 is very important. And I've learned like, okay, what is going to be like my evergreen? It's going to be my membership site, Davi Creative, where I host all like my products for speaker development, curriculum development, and brand development. And so that's what I was telling you about, how we're building that. And then I still have my 1-on-1 coaching, and then speaking is my 1-to-many, you know? And so where I'm focusing is speaking and my evergreen, because that's scalable. And then I'm only taking like a handful of 1-to-1 clients because, again, that's where if you're doing 1-to-1, you can't be making money doing other things, right? So I learned that from, I forgot who taught me that, but I've always stuck to that, and that's helped me a lot in my business.
100%, and that's very valuable. And I would actually add for your audience, because your audience are like people who are looking to learn. Is that what it is? Uh-huh. So I would add that you're gonna have your digital products, your knowledge-based digital products. So you call it evergreen. Evergreen is typically just saying that it does it automatically on its own.
Exactly.
So your knowledge-based digital product, your book's job is to do a couple of things. Number one, the job of your book is to share your story. Right. So you're gonna share these 4 things. Number one, you're gonna share your message. Number 2, you're gonna share why that is your message. Number 3, you're gonna share your story, and number 4, you're gonna share your business. What people fail to do is they fail to share their business. So they go, here's my story. And then it's like, oh, great. Now I know a lot about you. So you're creating fame versus a business.
Exactly. There's no sustainability.
There won't be any sustainability. So in your book has to lead to your website to where you're going to opt in. Then here's a strategy. I'm going to give you a freebie, okay? Here's a strategy. At the end of your book, I want you to say, was this book valuable to you? Give it to somebody you care about.
I love that. I love that.
Give this book to somebody you care about. We live in a world of abundance. You read it already. Give it to somebody you care about.
Don't leave it on yourself. You don't need to hold on to that. I love that. I'm about to do that on my book. I love that.
In the life of this book, now, in the next, let's say 6 years. In the next 6 years, it would touch on average, let's say 4 hands that I personally couldn't reach. Right. And out of those 4 hands, 2 of them, 4 of them, actually go to the website and opt in and then go into my funnel. Right. This book would touch people that I didn't market to. They opted in, and I was able to sell them a product. And I say, hey, where did you learn about me? Well, I've been following you for 2 years, and I don't really. Oh, you know what? My friend John gave me your book like 2 years ago. That's where it was. And then I went to your website. The next thing you know, I got an email, and I purchased that one thing that I came to your event, and after your event, I love it. Coaching, I went to your coaching, and I went to. Now I'm a partner, and then now we own a business together. Like that's how it works.
I love that, and that's so true. You know how many people, like you said, you started on YouTube, and this is the last thing before we close out. Every time I meet someone, they say, "Oh, I've been following you for years." Like I remember following you on Periscope. It is amazing how people I know, right? How amazing they follow you. And it's always random people. Like I'm talking to them, a discovery call, signing them up for my coaching program. Oh, how did you hear about me? Oh, I used to listen to you on Periscope, and I ended up following you to Instagram, and then I just see all the content you're posting. I'm like, she could be my coach. Like, she knows what she's talking about. So you're right. Like, sometimes it takes people a while, but I love the whole sharing is caring. I think that's very key. Where can we connect with you, Andrew?
I just want to say I've been following you since MySpace, man.
Stop it. Don't make me that old. Don't make me that old. You were probably like in what? Middle school or elementary school?
Yeah, man. I was that 12-year-old rapper from Rhode Island. They used to call me Young A Music on MySpace.
That is hilarious. Oh my gosh. Where can our audience connect with you on social media?
Hey, the best spot right now is progressionticket.com. Go to Progression Ticket. Learn about the one-day business seminar called the Progression Conference. We're doing a national tour.
I love it. That conference, y'all, is the bomb.com. Let me tell you, man, so many amazing speakers. When the LA, was it the LA tour? Was that what I call it? Okay. You guys, that's probably like one of my top favorite conferences that I've been to, you guys. I'm telling you. And I'm not going to lie, Andy, I was kind of shocked. Like, you surprised me. I was like, oh, whoa. Like, I mean, just the quality of speakers, your professionalism, the location, everything was spot on, man. So this guy right here knows his stuff, you guys. I'm telling you. So progressionticket.com.
Progressionticket.com, baby.
Let's go, baby. 2020.
Hey, Dupe, thank you so much for having me with your audience today.
Man, it's been a pleasure, my friend. It's been a pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your holiday break.